Hey everyone, thanks for tuning in. Today I'm taking a look at this, the Sideshow premium format figure of Sabretooth, the exclusive version. Been waiting a long time for this, let's see how it turned out. Alright, first up as always is the packaging, and as you can see we have something magnificent here. This thing is a beast. One of the largest boxes that I've ever contended with. I think that the Swamp Thing box was probably bigger than this. Anything else, it just fails to come to mind. Really strong artwork that is essentially just a photoshopped version of a photo of the statue itself, just to make it look more painterly. You can just see how these look more like brush strokes than the sculpting. Nice sticker down here indicating that it is the exclusive version, so we're gonna have an extra head to look at when we get into the box. And you can also see how the artwork continues around to either side of the box. Love this burnt orange coloring that they've got going on for the background behind him. Really sets the character off a lot, the statue itself off a lot. And when you come around to the back, you will notice that we have a fantastic X-Men logo. Sort of mirrored there. I kind of dig it. But what we really want to do is get into this box and see what comes with it. Okay everyone, here he is, the Sabretooth premium format figure from Sideshow, still in his box, exactly the way he's going to come to you, with the exception of the plastic protective bits which I've removed for the purposes of this video. You can see that it's a pretty simple assembly that we're looking forward to here right now, and I'll get to that in a second, but you've got the base, you've got the body, which is massive. Look at this. I mean, I have good sized hands, and this body is just massive compared to those hands. Oh God, these arms are just fantastic. Look how you've got those awesome claws coming out the back here. That's one of my favorite things about the modern Sabretooth look over the years. And of course, two different head sculpts. The regular version right here, very evocative of the past 20 years of Sabretooth, especially that classic bit where Wolverine kills him. Spoiler alert. And for the exclusive collector, you have this classic portrait from back in the classic days of X-Men in the 80s and the early 90s, say. That's the Sabretooth that I know. That's the Sabretooth that I fell in love with as a horrifying villain. He is one of my top 5 most horrifying villains, I have to tell you that. And I absolutely had to have that for my collection. In reality, I think most of the time I'll be displaying it with this long-haired, wild portrait. But this one is just gorgeous. Just look how savage and evil that looks. But enough of that. We'll look at this later when we get it all together. But first, in order to assemble this, you have to take out the base. Here is a glimpse of the artwork. You can see that I have number 412 of 500. I'm going to take that and set it over here on the table. Next, what we do is we take the body out rather, and put it onto the base. Now you can see here that there is a single key, and with a fat key right here and a slimmer peg at the bottom. That's doubling your support for the statue once it gets into the base, which is crucial because as you'll see, this is a very aggressive posture they've taken. Anyway, taking that out, we're gonna put that onto the base. It just slides in. There's a bit of a hole down at the bottom of that keyhole for the peg to go into. And once you found that, then you just slide it the rest of the way in, and Bob is your uncle. Next up, we'll have the hands. Right hand and left hand. So very easy to put these things in. They're magnetized. There are no pegs. It's just these big fat keyholes that they've taken to. And it's more than you need. Very powerful magnets. 1 and 2 and you're done. And finally, oh, eeny, meeny, miny, mo. I'm gonna go with the exclusive on this. And there you go. You can see now what it's going to look like with the exclusive head on the figure. And it's really a sight to behold. I mean, he just looks menacing. He looks confident, cocky, just deadly. I mean, he knows that you're done for. There's no challenging this guy. You don't want to see him coming towards you. Now, for those of you who are interested, I'm going to go ahead and grab this, the regular head, and get that onto him now. Just a simple matter of slide one off, slide the other one on, and you're done. Look at that! Oh my god, he's so ferocious. So glad that I picked this up. Okay. Now you can see that you get multiple solid angles out of this statue. Seriously, you can just rotate it pretty much any which way and it's going to look good. Some angles are better than others insofar as the anatomy is concerned. Some make the front leg look a little bit shorter than the back leg, as you can see here. I'm not an expert on anatomy by any stretch of the imagination, but I think that this is solid. The sculptor of this piece, I believe, is Martin Canale. You know, I've never actually known how to pronounce his last name. At any rate, he's always been a solid contributor. He's responsible for giving us the amazing Spider-Man premium format figure from a few years ago that recently, finally, at long last, went out of stock. And he's done a few other fabulous pieces as well. I think he contributed in some way to the Wolverine premium format figure for sure. Looking around at my collection right now, I'm struggling to come up with other things that he may have done. I think he might have contributed to the Venom premium format figure, but again, no promises there. I'd have to go back and look. But regardless, this Sabretooth premium format figure is just so stunning. The photographs did it justice, and yeah, so there you go. I either own or have owned Sideshow's previous incarnations of the Sabretooth premium format figures. The first one featuring a mixed media fabric costume, and the second one, which was basically a reboot of that figure, only fully sculpted, but in the classic color schemes from the 70s era of the introduction of the character. That was the look and the color palette that followed the character all the way through those years up into the time period of Chris Claremont and the likes of Mark Silvestri and maybe even Jim Lee, if I'm recalling correctly. Wasn't until later on in the 90s, maybe even into the early aughts, that we started to see this sort of a look for Sabretooth. And it was definitely a step in the right direction. There's a lot to be said for the evolution of a character's looks, even a character so savage and primal as Sabretooth is. The attention to detail from concept through execution is obvious in every facet of this figure, from the paint all the way through to the design of the panels that were hand sewn, obviously. For me, this statue's perfect. That's about it. Thanks, and until next time, be good to your plastic. Hey, look at you. Made it to the end and everything. If you liked what you saw, please hit that subscribe button. And if you're really hardcore, ring the notification bell and I'll be sure to let you know every time that a new video is posted. Again, thanks for watching, and remember to always be good to your plastic.